Chapter 14, Breaking the Code. Now that we've named the machinery, this chapter gets practical. How do you actually start unplugging from it in everyday life without moving to a cave and churning your own butter? We get into turning off the programming, becoming a conscious consumer, protecting your kids, reclaiming local power, dumping the brainwashing, and building a life that is finally your own. Chapter 14, Breaking the Code. Now that you've gotten a sense of what has been going on without your knowledge, how deeply the threads of manipulation run, how subtly your perceptions have been shaped, it's time to ask, what can you do about it? We are not helpless. We are not pawns. We are not mere bystanders in a rigged game of societal control. Becoming aware is not just a first step. It is an act of rebellion. From that awareness, powerful actions become possible. You can begin today to pull yourself out of the matrix of deceit. The first step, turn off the programming. Literally. Codebreaker number 1, turn it all off. You love your favorite TV show. You've grown up with certain characters. You have your guilty pleasures, your cinematic comfort food. Time for more truth. You're not watching TV. TV is watching you. Not in the Orwellian literal surveillance sense, although, let's be honest, that too, but in the sense that every frame, every commercial, every scripted laugh track, every word is designed to train you. This is not entertainment, it's entrainment, a carefully coded hypnotic device meant to keep you passive, compliant, and numb. Here's the rebellion. Take your TV back, or better yet, remove it altogether. You don't need to go cold turkey. Start by shifting the way you consume content. Get off the cable leash. Figure out how to access your favorite shows without the mind-numbing barrage of commercials. You can watch virtually any show or film you want without being bombarded by pharmaceutical ads or political propaganda once you've learned to navigate online archives. Once you do this, something shifts. You begin to reclaim your time, your consciousness, your mental real estate. Then something even more interesting happens. You lose interest. Without the nonstop flow of triggers and targeted manipulation, you start to realize that most of what you thought you had to watch was filler, noise, programming for the sake of filling time. Your list of must-see shows begins to shrink, first down to a few, then one, then maybe none. You're not losing something, you are gaining something. You're gaining your free will back, your mind back, your imagination back. With it, you're claiming the right to choose your input and to stop being passively fed by a system that profits off your attention. This is how the rebel's path further unfolds, not with fire and protest, but with awareness and a quiet refusal to be hypnotized. Ready for the next code? Codebreaker number 2, conscientious consumerism. You've begun stepping off the mental conveyor belt by disconnecting from TV programming. Now it's time to examine another layer of the matrix, your habits as a consumer. Every purchase you make is a vote, a signal, a thread in the web of energy, intention, and influence that ties you to the larger system. The question is, do you know what you're voting for? Consumerism is one of the most deeply embedded programs in our lives. It's not just about having things, it's about needing to have them, wanting the next, grasping for the new. It's engineered greed and dissatisfaction created by corporations who have spent billions figuring out how to make you feel incomplete until you buy their solution. Here's the rebel's move. Double-check every purchase. Before you click buy, before you swipe your card, ask, do I really need this? Is this truly aligned with the life I'm choosing to live? Let me be the first to admit, I have too many shoes and I don't hide it. The difference is I see it. I see the program. I feel the pull. I consciously choose what I will and will not allow to hook me. This is not about shaming desire. It's about reclaiming agency. The cult of consumerism is everywhere. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Gray Thursday, a trifecta of engineered madness. These are not holidays. These are rituals of zombie consumerism, ceremonies of mindless acquisition. You do not have to participate. You can begin right now to disrupt the system by living differently. Buy only what you need. When you buy from those who reflect your values. Boycott the companies who fund censorship, push pharmaceuticals, exploit workers, or promote division. Research their ties. Look deeper than the label. Every time you choose not to buy something you don't need, you create a crack in the control grid. Every time you support a local artisan or an ethical small business, you strengthen the parallel economy of freedom. Consumerism is not just about spending money. It's about spending energy, life force. As rebels, we guard that life force like gold. Remember, your worth was never meant to be measured in handbags or square footage. Your identity cannot be bought, only reclaimed. Next time you feel the urge to consume, stop, breathe, ask, who am I without this purchase? Chances are you'll like the answer. Ready for the next code? Code breaker number 3. Desexualize your kids. If you're still looking for the smoking gun that proves society has been hijacked, look no further than the hypersexualization of children. This is not religious zeal. It's not about shaming sexuality or promoting Puritan ideals. This is about waking up to the disturbing and deliberate manipulations that are unfolding right in front of us. We are being desensitized to the sexualization of minors, and that desensitization is a key tactic in the collapse of moral, emotional, and spiritual clarity. We are immersed in a culture that feeds children adult imagery, language, and behavior long before their nervous systems, emotional maturity, or spiritual discernment is ready to integrate it. You don't need a degree in psychology to see what this does to a developing psyche. When children become oversexed at increasingly younger ages, it's not progress. It's a sign of the decay of society. This is not a fringe opinion. It's observable. Track it over the last 20 years. As pop stars shed more clothes, as social media influences twerk into algorithmic stardom, as apps replace human intimacy and porn replaces physical connection, children mimic what they see. They become both objects of the system and consumers of it. Their identities form around distorted models of self-worth and interpersonal relationships. The end result? We are erasing the joy of discovery. We are gutting the sacredness of connection. We are turning divine union into a punchline. The idea of age-appropriate, conscious, monogamous sex with a loving partner has become an afterthought, even a source of mockery. There is something sacred in preserving the integrity of sexual energy until it can be held with reverence. When that reverence is removed, the body becomes transactional. The soul goes unrecognized. A generation grows up confusing hyperstimulation with love. What do? We reclaim the home as a sacred space, not just physically, but emotionally and vibrationally. We question what our kids are exposed to and how. We watch what's sneaking through their screens, their schools, their TikTok feeds, and their sex ed curriculums disguised as empowerment. We remember that true empowerment begins with boundaries, not indulgence. This is not about fear. This is about clarity. There is nothing old-fashioned about protecting innocence. There is nothing regressive about safeguarding childhood. In fact, it's one of the most revolutionary acts a parent can make right now. Some people will say, If I homeschool, won't my child miss out on socialization? Ask yourself, what kind of socialization are we talking about? The kind that pressures 8-year-olds into gender confusion and 6th graders into watching porn as part of sex ed? Or the kind that fosters values, creativity, curiosity, and genuine relationship? You may feel unequipped to homeschool or believe your job makes it impossible. This is where the next wave of rebellion comes in: community. You find others who see what you see. You organize learning pods, demonstrations, school board speeches, hire ethical tutors, share responsibilities, create microschools, or set up supervised homeschooling support while you work remotely. There are solutions. They won't come from the top down. They will come from the ground up, from you, the awake parent, the alert soul, the rebel with clarity. It's time to reject the myth that protecting your child's sacredness is prudish or outdated. It is neither. It is wise. It is brave. It may be one of the most crucial things you ever do. Your children are not vessels for ideology. They are beautiful beings full of possibility, here to love, to create, and to blossom into who they truly are. Let them unfold on their own timeline, not the one forced on them by a collapsing culture. Codebreaker number 4, support local government. Let's circle back to the question of government because this one's big. If you've begun to awaken to the manufactured matrix of control, you've probably noticed the same pattern everywhere. Decisions are made from the top down, and the people at the top, they don't know you. They don't represent you. They probably don't respect you, and they sure as hell aren't working for your freedom. That's why the rebellion begins close to home. Government should be kept as local as possible, physically, energetically, and structurally. It's a principle that's been lost in the fog of bureaucracy and globalism. It's an essential one if we are going to reclaim real power as individuals and communities. The more removed your government is from you personally, the more automated, impersonal, and unaccountable it becomes. You get filtered out. Your voice becomes static. Your actual needs, your clean food, your clean water, your right to parent, your bodily autonomy, are lost in a sea of manufactured talking points and corporate lobbying. This is not a partisan issue. It's a proximity issue. The closer your leaders are to your street, your school, your water supply, your land, your kids, the more power you have to influence them. It's leverage. If you can show up to a town hall and look your representative in the eye, if you can rally 5 neighbors to do the same, you are already doing more to shape the future than any social media argument or federal petition drive ever could. There is a growing movement, often ignored or demonized by mainstream outlets, that supports the idea of states reclaiming autonomy, decentralizing authority, and stepping out of the chokehold of federal mandates that no longer serve the people. At its root, this movement is not about fragmentation. It's about restoring self-governance at the level where it actually matters. Even if that idea feels too radical right now, one thing is undeniable. Local government is where your rebellion can gain traction. You don't have to agree with everything happening in your state or town, but you do have the ability to vet candidates, attend meetings, ask hard questions, and support those who actually represent your values. If you're not sure who those people are, start finding out. Look into their funding sources. Watch how they vote. Follow their trail. If they're bought, call it out. If they're clean, support them. Don't wait for some mythical savior. The fight for freedom is fought block by block. Local government is the last firewall between your autonomy and total centralization. Show up, speak up, get your boots on the ground, because the rebels of the future won't be hiding in bunkers. They'll be running for school board, managing farmers markets, building parallel communities, and taking back one town at a time. Let the revolution be relational, let it be close, and let it start with you. Codebreaker number 5. Dump the brainwashing. Let's face another hard truth. If you've lived in modern society for more than 5 minutes, you've been brainwashed. Maybe not in the dramatic dystopian sense, but certainly in the slow-drip, culture-soaked, algorithm-curated, education-conditioned way that numbs your instincts and installs someone else's beliefs as your own. Where does it come from? Everywhere. It pours in from the internet, floods you through TV, seeps in through films. It's woven into the school curriculum, blasted through headlines, echoed by politicians, and reinforced by well-meaning friends who've swallowed the script. You don't even realize it's happening. That's the point. That's how good it is. School is perhaps the biggest and earliest conduit. We are taught not to think, but what to think. We're graded on obedience, not originality, conditioned to seek approval instead of truth, designed to memorize, regurgitate, and fall in line. Yet, your mind is not theirs to program. How, then, do you break the spell? First, you unplug from the usual input. Take a break from the headlines. Question your daily sources of information. Ask, who benefits if I believe this? Who profits from my fear, my conformity, my distraction? Then, return to your source. Get quiet. Let your intuition come online again. Not the knee-jerk reaction shaped by trauma or media, but your real inner knowing. The one that whispers instead of shouts. The one that sees through the noise and says, wait, this doesn't feel right. Once that voice gets louder, let your mind work with it. True intelligence isn't just logic or facts. It's the unbreakable fusion of your intellect, your gut, and your heart. That's your built-in inner barometer. That's how you know what's real. This isn't just about breaking free. It's about reclaiming the rebellious brilliance that was always yours. Reprogram yourself, or someone else will do it for you. Ready for the next code? Codebreaker number 6, vibrational harmony. Discernment is your superpower. It's the compass you use when there is no map. The inner sonar that cuts through the noise and propaganda to say, this feels true, that does not. What is discernment really? Some say it's a mix of heart and head, intuition married with intellect. Others frame it as left brain logic paired with right brain creativity. In real life, it's messier than that. It's not a formula, it's a feeling, a layered personal calibration that arises when you stop outsourcing your judgment and start listening to something deeper. For me, discernment begins with rigorous investigation. I don't take things at face value, and I don't blindly accept claims, especially not from those in power or with something to gain. I research, I compare, I challenge assumptions. This is not about cherry-picking facts to confirm a bias. It's about peeling back every layer of a narrative until what remains is raw and real. Then comes the intuitive resonance. That click inside when you come across something that aligns, not just mentally, but energetically. It's not just satisfying your logic, it's vibrating in a way that matches your internal knowing. This is what I call vibrational harmony. It's when all the things you've uncovered on your truth-seeking path begin to echo a similar tone. Your gut says yes, your spirit settles, you can feel it in your cells. We are energetic beings in an ecosphere of frequency. Words carry frequency, beliefs carry frequency, truth carries frequency. Once you attune to that, you can detect the lies not simply through data, but through dissonance. The world is rigged with falsehoods presented as common sense. When you slow down, drop into your own being, and refuse to be coerced by fear or pressure, you'll feel when something is off. You'll know. That knowing will lead you to the next piece. This is the final step in reclaiming your unprogrammed life, using your own frequency to filter the flood of noise, reconnecting to that inner tuning fork that rings only when something is aligned. Not because someone told you, but because your whole being says, yes, this is true for me. That, my rebellious friend, is how you unplug from the machine. Thank you for listening to this excerpt.